It's cold and I'm afraid. I'm trying to figure out what happened to me. This is what I remember. I live in a small town in Germany. I apologize if my English isn't the best. There isn't much that you can do here, so like every Friday, I'm getting ready to grab drinks with the girls. Before I left the house, my mom was telling me to text her if it gets too late. Just text me and I'll come pick you up. She'd yelled at me. I had walked for about 15 minutes and then it had happened. A strange coldness and an overwhelming darkness. The last thing I remember was the feeling like someone pulled me through a small hole. I felt pain everywhere, like I was being pulled and stretched over and over again. My bones breaking and then being put back in their places again and again. I screamed, but it was like I didn't have a voice, and then I woke up. I could barely move. Whatever happened to me still hurt like crazy. After I got up on my feet, I pulled out my phone and wanted to call my friends, but all I saw was no signal. I woke up on what seems to be a country road. I decided to follow the road and maybe see if I could find somebody to help me. The first thing that I noticed about this place is that you couldn't hear a dang thing. No birds, no wind, no cars, nothing. The whole place seems lifeless. The trees, the grass, all of nature in this place is stripped away of all life. I'm terrified. So I just keep moving and hope to find help. Suddenly, I can hear someone crying very quietly in the distance. Naive as I am, I rush to help the person. Maybe they can help me. As I get closer, I see an older woman kneeling and crying. "Hey, do you need any help?" I said slowly as I approached her. One step before I could touch her, she turns around. I scream like never before. Her whole left side, it's falling apart. Her mouth is almost gone and her left eye isn't there anymore. I can't get a word out of my mouth. What was happening to this woman? Where am I? She can only crawl because her left leg is decayed, and she's trying to tell me something. With her right hand, she is signaling me to come closer. I am hesitating. I lean forward and she whispers, "Abandona este lugar de morida." Surprised the woman didn't speak German, but luckily I know a little bit of Spanish. She said, "Leave the bad place." Frantically I yelled, "How can I leave?" And then in Spanish, "Como, como." She said something that I didn't understand, so I just shook my head. With her only hand left, she pulled out a little piece of paper and gave it to me. "Follow," she said. "You're coming with me, lady," I said, determined not to leave her alone. As I tried to get her up to help her walk, we hear from the distance a car and screaming noises coming in our direction. I'm confused. Are there other people in here that are trapped? She grabs me by the neck and says, "Hide." Whoever is coming must have heard my scream from earlier, but why should I hide? I decided to trust her. Until now, all she did was help me. I run and hide behind the trees nearby. A red truck stops at the east side of the road, and 3 men and 1 woman get out. I didn't understand everything, but I remember what they had said. "We have you now, Maria. Couldn't run forever, we told you." The woman on the street couldn't speak anymore. Her condition, or whatever it was only getting worse. "Last chance, Maria. Join him and you will be restored and set free like all of us." Instead, Maria just spit on the man's shoes. "Fine, you had your chance," he said, annoyed. He pulls out a small axe and smashes it directly into Maria's forehead. Red splashes everywhere. I put my hands to my mouth to not scream again. I can't believe it. They just took her out and then they took the body and left. For a while, I didn't want to leave the place where I was hiding at. What if the same thing happens to me as what happened to Maria? Who are those people? Whatever this place is, it's trapping people from all over the world here. But then I remembered the piece of paper that Maria gave me. I opened it and it's a map of the road. With a red color, a line is drawn, like a path that leads to a small mountain at the end of the road, with big letters marked, escape, and with little letters reading, only at midnight. What if it's a trap? But then again, what choice do I have? I need to find a way out of this place, or at least someone who can help me. I gather up all the courage that I have left and make my way to the mountain, trying to stay off-road so that the people from before can't see me. As it gets darker and the sun settles down, I can hear more and more screams coming from everywhere, both from men and women. Those screams, I honestly can't describe them. I've never heard someone scream like that. I don't want to be here a minute longer than I have to in this place. As I make my way through the woods, I hear a strange sound. I can't tell if it's human or not, but I instantly hide behind a large tree. I soon hear footsteps running away from something that moves with heavy and fast steps. Something that runs with force, fast and unnatural. And then a scream. I peek to see what's going on, and then I see it. A young man on the ground, and then this thing. Large and strong, I don't know what it is. I haven't seen anything like it before. It's giving off crying and a screaming sound from it, and it can crawl and has 6 legs. I can't see if it has any eyes though. I can see the fear in that man's face. It has large spikes and it crawls. With his big teeth, the creature bites the man into his shoulder. Red runs down from his body as he screams in agony, and then I see it. The man starts decaying, his whole body falling apart, just like Maria. That must be the explanation for Maria's condition. Maybe she had encountered the creature and managed to escape, and her body stayed in a state of decomposition. While the creature is occupied, I try to move and hide somewhere else until it's gone. I see a large stone that I could hide behind until it leaves. As I make my move, I step on glass that I didn't see. Instantly, the creature notices me and it let out a big scream again. I felt like I was paralyzed. I couldn't move. The screaming continued, the creature moving fast in my direction. Well, that's it, I thought. And then I hear shots, 2 men appear and they start shooting at the creature. The creature falls back and it starts crying. "Go get her, we have to move," I hear one man yelling. The other one approaches me and says, "Get up, we need to run." As the other man keeps shooting at the creature, we run to their car. "Get in." He steps on the gas and we drive out of there. "Come on." But as the other man approaches the car, he keeps shooting at the creature. The moment the other man entered the car, we slammed on the gas again and drove away, leaving the creature in the dust, only hearing it scream and cry in the distance. As we arrive, I could see the top of the mountain. I'm getting close, maybe close to home. We hid the car behind some trees, and then one of the men moved some branches that were on the ground, revealing a small door underneath them. "Quick, get in," he whispered. Inside the door was a small room, smaller than my room at home. There were some guns, food, and a huge map of the place with marked up spots. Each of the spots had one word written under it: Crawler. I thanked them for saving me finally. The one who drove the car and saved me was called Peter. He was from the Netherlands. The other one was Victor from South Africa. Victor had been here for 2 months and Peter for 7 years. They both tell me that they like me and that they don't know how I got here, only that they had experienced these same things like I did before they had woke up in this place. Their theory is that there is something from where we come from that pulls people into this place, so that the crawlers can feed on us. And Peter goes on to tell me stories about how he survived here, and how many people he saw die in this place. The life is sucked out of them by those creatures. He just hoped to see his family again. He says that they're waiting for him. I tell them about Maria and what had happened to her, and they tell me that there are groups of people that swore an alliance to the creatures, and their godlike figure who rules over them. They hunt down other people like us, people who dare to stand up against their ruler. Hopeful, I show them the note that Maria gave me. They both look at each other and just shake their heads. We tried that many times, Peter says. A lot of people die because the crawlers know. They come and wait for us to make our move and then they feed, all night long. He explains that in these 7 years that he's been here, only 2 have managed to escape, but they never heard of them again. He also states that the portal opens only once a month at midnight. His theory is that it opens because people are also being pulled into this place at the same time. I tell them that even though it's risky, I want to try. I want to go home. Do you want to stay here for the rest of your life, or do you want to see your families again? I ask them. We would die if we try that. There's no chance for the mission. There are 3 of us and we could barely handle 1 crawler on its own, and there will be much more. Victor warns me. I'm sorry, but I have to try. They both look at each other, acknowledging that I won't back down, and then Victor asked again, You know how to handle a gun? I got a 10-minute crash course on how to use a gun. If you shoot at them, shoot in the head or the chest. That's where they feel it the most. 5 minutes to midnight. Our plan is set. We can hear the creatures outside screaming and crying, and Peter gives Victor a nod. Peter slowly opens the door and moves to the car. He puts something under the car and gives us a sign to move. We all hid behind the trees. The peak of the mountain is only about 500 meters away. I can feel the vibration in the air. Peter points to the peak, and a huge electric force field appeared. You have to touch it, Peter said. And then what? I asked. I don't know, never got there in time before, and we only have 10 minutes from now. Victor pulls out a remote, looking at us. Ready? We both nod. A huge explosion fills the night sky. We can hear the creatures, 6 of them, all running towards the car. The distraction had worked. Now run, Peter yells. All of us sprint like crazy towards the peak. I can now clearly see the force field in its reach. As we sprint, I trip over a stone and fall to the ground. One of the creatures had heard it, and it's now sprinting back towards me. I tried to pull out my gun, but it was stuck. There it is in front of me with its huge claws and spikes, ready to launch at me. I just put my hands up to defend myself, fearing the worst. At the same time, Peter smashes a huge axe into the creature's back. The creature screams out in agony. Now the other creatures had heard it too. We were done for. Victor started shooting at the other creatures going after us. We need to move now, we're almost there. Peter helped me up and we started running to the portal again. We were only about 100 meters away now. Victor was now already at the force field. Touch it! Peter screams at Victor. As Victor touched the force field, a big blue light appeared for a second. It was so strong that I had to close my eyes, and when I opened them, Victor was gone. Okay, it's your turn. Before Peter could finish his sentence, one of the creatures had pierced him through the back with one of its spikes. Peter screamed out. His blood splattered all over my face. Peter, no! He dropped his shotgun, and without really thinking about it, I pick it up and blast the creature into its chest. It drops to the ground. Come on, Peter, get up. We need to leave. We're only a few steps. Get up. Nah, this is my last ride. No, you're going to see your family like you said. They're waiting for you. You never told me your name. Sarah. It's Sarah. I'll see my family now, Sarah. We all got pulled together in this place. They died a long time ago, and I'll join them in a better place. You have to go now. Peter makes his last breath in my arms. Even if I didn't know him, I still feel broken. I can hear the crawlers getting ready to launch again. I turn around and see the force field fading. Only a few steps left. One last time I looked back at Peter, as I see 10 crawlers storming in my direction. I touch the force field. Again, the strong blue light. And then I open my eyes. I can see a very familiar street. It's the street where I live in. I check my phone, no messages, but the phone is working. As I look at my house from where I was standing, I hope that Victor had found his way home and that Peter would find his peace with his family. I couldn't wait to see my parents and my siblings again. Even if I was gone for only 2 days, it felt like an eternity. As I approached the front door of the house, I could see my mom through the window, smiling and preparing dinner. My dad and my siblings are laughing and joking around. Excited, I wanted to press the doorbell, but then I saw it. That can't be. A shiver ran down my spine. It was impossible. I saw myself, laughing and joking and talking to my family. That's not me, that can't be me. Something or someone has replaced me, and it has been with my family. I write this as a warning. If you go missing in the bad place, you have already been replaced.